What up, folks? Welcome to another episode of the Flow Up. This is the podcast where we are guiding ourselves to self-discovery and productive living. I am your host, Jarrell Simpson, and I am fresh off of a serious hiatus. Y'all, it has been a minute since I released a new episode, and words cannot describe how much I missed being back on the microphone, back in this seat, in your airwaves, in my window, just talking to y'all. Like, this feels so good, and I'm so excited to be back and share with you what has been going on with me and what I've been inspired to share with you. I also want to just thank everyone who has shown support for the show, has supported me in my content journey and just my businesses all around with the Flow Up. I really do appreciate all the love, still rocking with me, still listening to old episodes. I definitely see you and just want to give a special shout out and thank you for still being in the support group. Okay. So let's talk about this episode. I figured this is a great way to kick off this new series of me really just focusing on the things that make us elevate, the things that make us become better, the tools and the hacks and the tips that we can use that are accessible, that can really help us on that next stage in our journey wherever we are. So in this episode, I wanted to really talk about what it feels like when we are being pulled in so many different directions and we feel like everybody has a piece of us except for us, or we feel like we are the last person on our list that gets the attention and the care that they need. And there is something to be said about getting pulled in different directions, because you can say self-care all day and center yourself first. But when it comes to practicality, when it comes to waking up that next day, when it comes to the responsibilities that a lot of us have on a day-to-day basis, we say put ourselves first, but in real time, we are absolutely not putting ourselves first. We are putting the kids first. We are putting our husband first. We are putting our social responsibilities first. We are putting our job first and just all these different things. And then when we have enough time or whatever's left over in the day, then we squeeze in some time for us. And I just wanted to explore just what that looks like when we're being pulled in different directions and what we can do to kind of help spread ourselves a little bit more fully. Because when we really look at what it takes to fill your cup up first and then fill up everybody else's cup, there has to be an overflow. There has to be something that is constantly adding water, because a cup can only be 100% full and it can only be spread evenly between 0 and 100%. So there's a floor and there's a cap. So in order for there to be an abundance, we have to constantly add that water and constantly have that supply. So this episode is just basically first acknowledging the fact that we're being pulled in different directions. Sometimes it can be hard for us to even see where we are being pulled. We just know that we're running all over the place with our heads cut off. And then also things that we can do, real actionable tips that we can do to help create more space for us. So in this episode, I share 3 tips to try and to implement in your daily life so that you can have time where you don't feel like you're being pulled in different directions, that you have enough energy for all of your responsibilities, including, most importantly, yourself. So real quick, before I share the 3 tips, I just want to emphasize on the impact that being pulled in different directions, wearing different hats, can have on our emotional and our physical well-being. Chronic stress can impact us physically, cause other diseases, cause other problems health-wise, mentally and physically, and just how important it is to really protect your peace and really protect your identity and how you view yourself and how important that is. I think when we are trying to pull ourselves in different directions and then we start noticing, well, I'm not showing up as much for this responsibility as opposed to this one, or this is not getting the attention that it needs, and I'm not good enough for this, but I'm working on this, or I can only do so much. When we get in that, we start to feel a little inadequate in ourselves and inadequate in our roles, and questioning, okay, am I a good mom, or am I a good wife, or am I a good person, am I a good daughter, because I'm not showing up as much as I would like in this one specific hat. And let me just say something about this whole wearing different hats. I really cringe when I hear that analogy, because the thing about it is hats can be taken off and put it back on within seconds. And when it comes to switching from one role to the other, or simultaneously wearing quote unquote different hats, it takes way more time. Like, I need serious buffers from when I come from work to when I'm engaging with my kids. It's not something as simple as taking off a hat and putting the next one on. Like, I need to decompress. Another thing that happens when we typically are being pulled in so many different directions is that we ultimately lose our sense of self. And you look up one day and you're like, who am I? What do I like? What makes me happy? What am I doing for myself? Have I watched myself? Have I taken care of my body? Have I booked that appointment for myself? When's the last time I booked a doctor's appointment? When's the last time I booked a dentist appointment? When's the last time I booked any holistic wellness appointment for myself? When's the last time I checked in with myself mentally? When's the last time I journaled? When's the last time I got a massage? When's the last time I took a self-care hot girl walk? Like, well, what do I want to do with my life? What brings me joy? What impact am I trying to make? What legacy do I want to leave? When you're wearing different hats, you just become the supporter and the provider for the person that you are showing up for. And you just kind of use your body, use your mind, use your skill set to take care of them, take care of their needs and anticipate their needs, which is a beautiful thing. But you just have to make sure that you are doing the same for yourself, and you're taking that same energy that you put into other people and you're putting it into yourself, and you're putting your oxygen mask on first. Another funny thing about losing yourself is that you do it over a slow process. I feel like when I lose myself, or when I get lost in the sauce, I just look up one day and I'm like, whoa, I am underwater right now. Like, how did we get here? Like, this has been something that's been slow cooking and marinating, and it almost becomes undetectable until, things hit the fan, or till you feel completely submerged or overwhelmed. So we don't want to get overwhelmed. We don't want to create chronic stress in our body. So here's some tips that I have found to work for me, and I hope they work for you. Or at least I hope they inspire you to do what works for you. So tip number 1 is to create a strategy. Create a real strategy where you can, one, identify all the different quote unquote hats that you wear. So what are the roles outside of yourself that you play? Are you a spouse? Are you a wife, a mom? Are you a entrepreneur? Are you an employee? Are you a caretaker for someone? What are the roles that you play that affect other people, that support or provide for other people? If you take any kind of life coaching or self-development course, you may have heard of time mapping. That's when you look at your entire day from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, and minute by minute you are looking at how you spend your day. Every single thing that you do from the moment that you wake up, all the things that you do in between, into the moment that you lay your head down at night. And I want to take this same concept, but narrowing it down to the engagement that you have with other people. So really looking at a people mapping. From the moment I wake up, who am I engaging with? Who am I engaging with throughout the day? When I'm engaging with them? How long I'm engaging with them? And I think when we look at it as far as how many people were engaged, for people who are being pushed in different directions, typically that looks like a lot. That looks like a lot of people. I'm thankful and blessed to wake up to my beautiful husband. I'm thankful and grateful to wake up to my beautiful children. And I am thankful to have the opportunity to be in their lives and to influence their lives and to love on them. It's the most beautiful thing. We also have to be mindful of how much energy that is taking. So my tip to you, look at your schedule, see who you're interacting with, and plan interactions with certain people. I find when you have a specific time block for your kids, or a specific time block for date night, or a specific time block for when you're going to do your meditation and things like that, like having a time and a place to do something is so powerful, and it greaters the chances of you executing this when you have put pen to paper, when you have spoken it out loud, when you have officially planned it. So putting things on your calendar. Another thing I like to do is text myself, because we're always in our phones, and typically when you send text messages, frequently it's at the top of your texting scroll. So I frequently text myself either links of inspirational content, things that I want to do, hobbies that I want to get into, ways that I can meditate, things like that. I text myself, so that way it's always kind of at the top of my text scroll, things that promote my healing. And I learned that kind of from a friend, and I tweaked it a little bit. So shout out to my girl Andrea for that tip. Another friend of mine, Giselle, really talks about the importance of giving your kids their own day, their own time to like spend with you and only you. And I feel like when we give undivided attention to each responsibility that we have, we feel like that quality that we get from that helps feel more whole and helps feel more accomplished. So I really try to take each of my kids out on their own date. Me and my son recently went to see a play, and it was a way that me and him kind of got away, and we went to the Lifeline Theater here in Chicago and saw Native Son, which is one of my favorite books from back when I was in college, but I didn't remember how graphic the Native Son was. So there was some very salacious things in there, and I'm with my teenage son, included, let's just say, self-pleasure, let's just say explicit activity between man and woman. It had sex, it had murder, and it was just, it was just really weird. And I'm sitting next to my son at this X-rated play, but it was good. It was fun. We got to kind of talk about that and just kind of talk about taboo things, which, hey, I appreciate every experience just teaches something. So I'm actually kind of thankful that it cracked the door for us to have what generally would be a hard conversation, but kind of broke the ice, so to speak. And I just know if I had brought my entire family, then we definitely maybe wouldn't have had those intimate conversations. The last thing I did with my daughter, we have a middle school daughter, and we played hooky one day and took her to the library, took her to Starbucks. Then we went to Target, just like a cliche day with mom. And she's really into Greek mythology, so she got some Percy Jackson jewels from the library, and it was just so fun to see her geek out over that kind of stuff. And then I feel like, honestly, my toddler, she just gets so much of my time. I don't even need to be intentional about dealing with her. Like, I wake up and that girl toes is in my butt. So it's a hot mess. I'm working on it. Please send any advice to getting a toddler out of your bed. Don't want it to ruin my marriage. So yes. send help because she gonna send me to the single house, okay? Um, but no, so and then with my husband having the intentional time, we go to local bars, take walks in the park, just kind of hang out solo dolo. We just need a building, me and him, like we just need a place to go. Like we'll be in the most random spots. We just want to be out and be able to hear each other when we talk to each other. Like other than that, that's all we need. And just being intentional about when we're gonna spend time together. That could be a whole nother episode, so I'll save that. But that's tricky because I feel like with kids you can really kind of plan and take ownership of what you're going to do, but with a partner, they're an adult too, so you got to consider like what they got going on. And not to say I don't consider what my kids like or whatever, but you know what I mean. There's a lot more compromising that happens with another adult. So strategy is important. Have a plan with your man and your kids and your job and you. Okay, all right. Number two is, it kind of goes with number one, and it's pretty simple, is communicate with all parties involved. When you come up with a strategy, make sure people know about it. Make sure the people involved know about it. And not only does that help solidify your strategy, but it also kind of gives like a built-in accountability, because your kids are going to be asking, okay, hey, this is the time that we're supposed to do this. When are we doing this? They'll show the excitement. They'll hold you accountable. And same thing with your partner, just having someone else to remind or get excited about or, plan with. Just kind of communicating. I've noticed that a lot of times I would make plans and it'd just be in my head. I'd just be, having this grandiose plan and no one knows about it but me. And then everybody's like surprised and there's different reactions and it can get really crazy. So bring people in on your strategy, and also the community. If there's anybody in your village that you can call upon to help make your strategy easier, then do it. I know this was very challenging for me because just a part of who I am, I have a prideful aspect of me. I like to kind of do things myself, and it's challenging for me to accept help and to ask for help. Ooh, that's a real big one, let alone accept help, but ask for help, oh Lord. And I'm really coming out of that, and it's so crazy how once you start asking for help or accepting help, how relieved, how easy it is actually once you just get the words out, how willing people are to help and to support you in the ways that you need. And then also how much easier that just makes it. You can literally feel the weight lifted off. And I have been realizing that is what I need so that I don't feel so overwhelmed. I've been dealing with being overwhelmed and being anxious for a few years now, literally ever since I had my toddler. My anxiety, I felt, went through the roof, and me becoming easily overwhelmed to the point where getting too many phone calls, getting too many emails, getting too many text messages, or people expecting me to answer the phone and respond to them, it's just like became like seriously depressing and made me kind of stoic and just freeze up. And so in coming out of that, I realized that I don't have to do it all by myself, and I will be a better person if I had more freed up time. Again, looking at that strategy and communicating with people who can help you, and really thinking, okay, who do I trust to help me in this aspect? Who would be willing and happy and available to help me with this? What can make my day easier? 9 times out of 10, there's something or someone that can just help your day go a little bit smoother. And I think being proactive in that can really help managing the day-to-day and being pulled in different directions. And the last one may sound like an obvious one, but I really think the girlies that feel overwhelmed can benefit from this one. But getting a new hobby, however, if it's once a quarter, once every 6 months, once a year, once a week, whatever, fits your lifestyle. But just picking a new hobby, something that may be a little unorthodox or maybe something completely outside of your comfort zone, and really getting into it and giving it the time and giving it the patience and giving it the energy that that it requires to experience said discipline. I really think that can be beneficial. Learning something new, our brain is expanding, our neurons and protons and all the things, you know what I'm talking about. We're getting smarter when we learn new things, and it improves our mental health. When you learn something new, you almost learn a new language or a new way of doing something, a new way of creating art, a new way of looking at life, a new way to communicate with another entity. It's actually really beautiful. So I think when you take the time to really commit to a new hobby, you learn something about yourself that you may not have known. And it's just, once again, bringing you back to that grounded center, bringing you back to the present moment, taking you outside of those extra roles that you have, and really just focusing on you and how you show up in the moment. And I think that is really, really important. That doesn't get talked about enough, the power of new hobbies. So I hope this episode has encouraged you in some way, form, to just remember who you are. Remember to give yourself that time that you deserve, and do it first. Do it unapologetically. When you show up for yourself and you are well, you're able to give that time to others and be a better version of you. But at the end of the day, you're doing a good job. Period. We're doing a good job. And if you made it to the end of the episode, thank you so very much. I would love to hear what you thought about this episode. You can DM me on Instagram at dreadlockyogi, at the flow up. Leave a rating and review and tell me what you thought. That would really help. It lets other people know how this episode has inspired you in whatever way. And I am just really, again, happy to be back. I am so excited about the new episodes that I have lined up for this season, and I hope you stay connected, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Peace.